Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, passion for excellence.
This is Autoline Daily for Wednesday, May 12, 2010, and here's what's going on in the automotive industry. General Motors is looking at starting its own captive finance arm again, the Wall Street Journal reports. Remember, GM sold GMAC to Cerberus in 2006 to raise cash, which I described at the time as the biggest blunder in the history of the automaker. And here's why I said so. GM started GMAC, the General Motors Acceptance Corporation, in 1919. You see, dealers have to buy their cars from a car company, and they need financing to be able to do that. Then they turn around and sell those cars to customers who also need financing. So as a car company, you get to finance that sale twice, and then you can take all that money and invest it to make even more money. It's the best racket in the business. So when GM sold GMAC, it was worse than shooting itself in the foot. It was like shooting itself in the head. And no wonder they want to get back into financing. Nissan reported its year-end results today. Company CEO Carlos Ghosn said that Nissan sold 3.5 million vehicles worldwide, a 3% increase over the year before, but revenues dropped 10% due to currency exchanges, meaning a stronger yen. Even so, Nissan managed to post an operating profit of $3.5 billion. But while the future is looking brighter for Nissan, not looking so good for Ferrari. Bloomberg reports that the Italian automaker is going to idle its factory at Maranello and lay off 600 employees out of a total workforce of 3,000 people. A key reason why Ferrari is slashing production? It makes engines for Maserati, and sales at Maserati have fallen in half over the last 2 years. Also, Ferrari knows the value of building just enough cars to barely meet demand. Otherwise, it can destroy the margins that it can command for its cars. But this did not go down well with Ferrari's unionized factory workers. They walked off the job today, which ties in almost perfectly with the next story. Bob King, who will take over as president of the UAW in June, said that union workers should be rewarded for the sacrifices they made as the big three automakers recover. According to the Detroit Free Press, King claims that concessions cost the average union worker between $7,000 and $30,000 in lost wages and benefits. King specifically called out Ford for restoring benefits to its salary workers, but not its hourly. The union filed a grievance over this, which could end up in arbitration. And Ferrari's not the only one cutting back. Toyota announced that it will permanently reduce production capacity in Japan. According to Bloomberg, the company will slash production 20% by 2015 and move output to emerging markets. The Japanese factories will now specialize in building vehicles with new technology and low-cost production systems. But here's my take. This is a bombshell. Toyota has never reduced production capacity in Japan, and I believe this could be the tip of the iceberg. I'd not be surprised at all to see Honda and Nissan make similar moves. Porsche just introduced its fastest and most powerful street-legal vehicle it's ever offered for sale, the 911 GT2 RS. It's powered by a 3.6-liter gasoline engine with twin turbos, and it's mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. This model is 154 pounds, that's 70 kilograms, lighter than the 911 GT2, and it has 90 more horsepower for a total of 620 horsepower. Thanks to a power-to-weight ratio of only 4.9 pounds per horsepower, it'll hit 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 3.5 seconds. And yet, it's rated at 19.7 miles per gallon, that's 11.9 liters per 100 kilometers. The vehicle goes on sale later this year. Only 500 will be made with a base price of merely 199,500 euros, which is only $253,000. Hey, when automakers talk about days supply in the field, what do they mean by that? Well, I've got an answer coming up right after this.
Introducing Bridgestone's third generation of run-flat tires with groundbreaking new Bridgestone technologies. Bridgestone run-flat tires offer improved ride comfort, lower rolling resistance, and improved wear while giving you the peace of mind and comfort you need.
And now it's time for You Said It. D saw our report on how a BMW executive caused a bomb scare in New York when he parked a camouflaged prototype of an X3, left the engine running, and strolled into Central Park. A passerby notified police who evacuated the area. Anyway, D asks, how do you accidentally leave a prototype vehicle running in NYC while you go frolicking in the park? D, that is a great question. And I have another one. How did that guy and the bomber who the other day ever find a parking spot in the city? The prolific Nick Stevens wrote in to say, that pathetic Transit Connect has 181 days, 6 months of inventory. Ford obviously miscalculated, and the so-called expert auto journalists that voted for it over the best-selling excellent Equinox have egg all over their faces. Well, Nick, be careful. Don't read too much into just 1 month's report on day supply. Automakers calculate day supply numbers based on how well a vehicle is selling and how fast they're shipping them to dealers. The numbers can vary quite a bit from season to season and in some cases even from month to month. I happen to know that Ford has some big fleet sales coming on the Transit Connect, and that day supply could drop fast over the next couple of months. Jim Tykeson wrote in and says, John, the question on the Volt or any of the other electrics is this. What happens when you go to the end of your electric charge, plus you've run through the gas powering the small 3-cylinder that charges the electric motors? Well, Jim, in the case of the Volt, it's actually a small 4-cylinder engine, but when you run out of gas, or actually before you run out, you simply drive into a gas station, fill up the tank, and keep on driving. That's the beauty of the Volt. You get 40 miles of EV driving, and after that, it's just like any other car with a gasoline engine. Hey, don't miss Autoline After Hours tomorrow night when our guest will be Mark Ragsdale, a former car dealer who's written a book called Car Wreck, all about the automotive industry from a car dealer's point of view. He also gets into why the car companies have no idea of what it takes to sell a car and why you should lease a car with the shortest lease possible. That's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that's it for today's top news in the global automotive industry. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.